So I think we're good to start. Hello and welcome to this webinar. Today I'm going to talk about applications in ServiceNow and how you get more information with ERM for SN and how easy that is. If you have questions, please use the Q&A functionality and then of Zoom, and then I will try to answer your questions at the end. So, my name is Boris Mörs. I'm CEO and founder of ERM for SN. I'm doing this for quite some time now. It all started with a migration request from IBM Maximo to ServiceNow. And this is also the reason why I have developed ERM for SN, because it helped us to analyze about 450 CI tables which were in use in ServiceNow and simplify the migration from Maximo. So, talking about ERM for SN, what is it? ERM for SN is a SaaS application. It runs in the cloud. It's made in Java, and it connects with your ServiceNow instances to pull all the relevant meta information from the schema table and put it in a nice format so it can easily be browsed and understood without being high level admin in ServiceNow and digging into all the various schema tables. Then this model which we create serves various roles in the ServiceNow teams. So we have BAs using this to understand the schema, to understand applications. We have admins which want to see what conflicts there are in upgrades. We have developers, etc. It's also used for third-party teams, most likely outside of the ServiceNow team in the companies, which need to understand how a table API, a REST API, is shaped in ServiceNow. And for that, ERM for SN is also a very easy way, which I'm going to show you just in a minute. So ERM for SN has a lot of features. You can check just the table structure of all the tables in ServiceNow, how application and scopes are layouted. You can create UML diagrams, see if tables exist in all your instances, or if some change got missed during a deployment. If columns are different across instances, then also what happened over time. So we can create snapshot of the schema definition, which allows you then to see who has changed what. We can do platform upgrade, something which you have to do with ServiceNow, but we can also monitor that. So you see what has been changed on a new version of ServiceNow. We can do consistency checks if fields are, let's say, a Boolean field should be a length of 1 and not the length of something else. Instance comparison is very handy, so one can compare two versions of ServiceNow in one easy way. We can do the same thing with releases. We have a schema health feature, and all the reports can be downloaded as an Excel sheet. Today, in this call, I'm going to focus mainly on the table structure and the application structure. This is what we use as the source for the use case. And the use case is, I picked a simple one, so it's easy to understand. So the requirement is, there's a change request on the out-of-the-box application, which is called Application Portfolio Management in ServiceNow. And the portfolio manager wants to deactivate an application category so it cannot be used anymore. So obviously there's a category table which is used somewhere else, and the requirement would be introduce a flag that I can set this active true false. So now the questions would be here, well, what is the out of the box design of this application portfolio management application? And once I know that, is there maybe already a field which I could reuse? So maybe ServiceNow out of the box has this capability of enabling or disabling a record, and it's just not visible in the UI. And then is that table maybe also used somewhere else in as a reference table for other tables? And if I change this here, this could have an impact on the rest of the functionality. And then once I have analyzed all of these points, the next question is, how should this be implemented in a way that I don't have conflicts with platform upgrade? Because when I touch an out-of-the-box record, ServiceNow is not upgrading that record anymore. It stays in that version until it has been in a platform upgrade manually rolled forward. And there might be other interesting questions which people have when they get this kind of requirement. But we could just now hand over this to the software architect. Software architect should look at these points and then design the change. So now we are the software architect, and I need to know what the current implementation of this table is, because otherwise I don't know how to implement and advise for the change. So the steps will be, I go to ServiceNow, I find this application category table somewhere in the UI, and then I have to dig into the depth of ServiceNow to see what is the dictionary of that record, what are the fields of that table, and I can also, ServiceNow supports a very poor schema map. I can go there and have a look how this is implemented. The point is, I need to be admin to open the table dictionary record, list the table columns, and show the schema map. I will show that in a minute. So as a software architect, with my role, I can't do that. So I most likely have to approach an admin. That admin, I ask the admin give me an extraction of that table, and then I start my analysis on that. So only admins have access to the dictionary. There is no self-service out of the box in ServiceNow. This is very time consuming because I have to ask the admin all the time. I only get what the admin exports from ServiceNow, maybe exports it as an Excel sheet. So I don't have a chance to get a holistic view of the application. And the ERD viewer is, not very well designed. And all the exports to Excel must be done manually. So let's demo this quickly, and I can show you how this works in ServiceNow. So we are here now logged in ServiceNow in the personal development instance. And here we see the application portfolio management application. And now the question is, where is this application category? Here's the table, application category. And now if you want to change or analyze this table, you have to go here, you have to go, go here, configure, table. This can only be done if you're an admin. Now we are on the table record. We see all the fields here. And there is no easy way to understand what table is referencing this table. So I see only the columns, but I don't know where is this table used. And there is this schema map. I'll show you that. So what you get from ServiceNow is the schema map. This is the table itself. There's a way to show the referencing tables as well. That's all you get. And then if you decide to hide a table, you get something broken like this. So it's not very mature. So now the same thing in ERM for SN works like this. We go to the application categories table and we click here, open ERM for SN. Now we logged in automatically to EM for SN, and we are exactly on this table, exactly on this instance, and we have everything which we need to know in one place. So we know it is a root table. It has no subclasses or siblings. We see who has created the application and when. We see the scope of the application. And we see all the fields. Yeah. Obviously, there is no active field. So this would be required to implement here. We can't use something out of the box. We see that this table is in this instance, which we have replicated into the demo instance, but not in Tokyo and not in Tokyo Vanilla, because APM, the application, must be installed, which was not the case here. So this is the distribution feature. You also see what tables do reference this table. So there are two. You can easily navigate here. So I can just open it in a new tab. You will see the same thing here. This is a table which is referencing back to the other one. So. And we have a nice diagram at the bottom, which shows me the table and relationship in a graphical way. And there's also an option to do this in a detailed way with all the additional fields. So I have an easy way, one click to see what is the table structure, how it is related to the rest of the applications in ERM for SN. Now, the interesting part is, let's say we want to have also an overview how application portfolio management application is designed at all. So for that, we just go here. We open the scope, application portfolio management. Again, one single page, easy to understand. And here on the left-hand side, we have all the tables which are part of this application. We have all the files in other tables, or this one, which belong to this application. We can jump again to those tables to understand how they work. We can go to the ServiceNow instance directly to see what records we have there. And at the bottom, we have a diagram which contains all the tables which are the one above, and we easily see the relationship between those, and we get a holistic view of how the APM, application portfolio management application, is designed in ServiceNow. ERM for SN has other features as well, so we could create a diagram with some specific tables, export that. We can open these diagrams as well in case tools like Enterprise Architect or Draw.io. But in this session here, I only wanted to address how easy it is to get an idea of how a table is structured in ServiceNow. So let's move back to the slides. So what we have, if we analyze an application with ERM for SN, we open the table in the UI. We click on the link to open it in ERM for SN, and we find all the information in one place. We see the scope, we see the table details, the column and the attributes, referencing table, and we have a nice diagram which we can use as a baseline for our change. We can also use it then later when the change is implemented for documentation of the change. So the benefits are all employees can have access to the data dictionary. It's entirely self-service. We don't need an admin to extract some data from dictionary. It's very easy to get a holistic view of an application and connections beyond. We have a detailed ERD viewer. We can export to PNG and PDF or draw.io and UML, XML format. And we can easily export all the information which you want to have, let's say, table columns into an Excel sheet. So the takeaways are: analyze with ERM for SN, and it is very easy to use. So you can browse all the application, the scopes, you can navigate forward and back, see also beyond that scope, that application portfolio. What tables do we have? What columns do we have? And how they relate to each other. And we save a lot of time, so no one has to bother the admins for unnecessary tasks. There's all there in ERM for SN with one click. And everyone is on the same page. So we can have the guys in the ServiceNow team all going to ERM for SN to understand how things are structured and work. We can have other teams in the company which want to, let's say, create reports to learn how tables are structured in ServiceNow and how they relate to each other, which is very important if you want to create a report. We use the same source for other teams which want to integrate with ServiceNow. They use REST APIs to pull records from the ServiceNow tables. All those teams have the same set of information, use the same source. We have some more minutes left. Yeah, 20. Okay. So we are partnering with Boston & Partner, an IT recruitment agency in Switzerland. So we also have access to ServiceNow skilled people. So if you have requirements regarding this as well, we can not only support you with ERM for SN to simplify your work, you also can increase your team capabilities. We are, myself, Hans-Peter Himmel, from CEO of Boston & Partner, and our sales and product ambassador, Uwe Jäger. If you have questions, please reach out to us, or if you have some questions regarding the session today, you also can use the FAQ feature of Zoom. We have a next webinar coming up to the end of August, where we're going to talk about, it's going to be a hardcore session on UML diagramming, where we're going to talk about dictionary diagrams, which is the next step from what I showed today. So in that level, we're going to do a custom diagram, which contains only the tables which we want to have. We will export this and show how people can use it as a baseline to do graphical analysis and design with ERM for SN. So far, so good. We come to the end of the webinar. If we have, let me see if we have questions. It doesn't look like. Okay, in that case, I wish you all a very pleasant weekend and see you next time. Thank you.